Hey everyone, glad to see you again. Anywhere you are in this wonderful world, I hope you're all having a great day. It's easy to see that XRP has been stuck in a sideways trend if you look at the chart for 1 week. We moved up a little, then sideways, and then we began to break down. Here's the important part. On Bitcoin, you can see almost the same setup. Bitcoin moved sideways, went up a little, broke down, and is now beginning to move back up. The price of Bitcoin is back above $91,000. Most likely, XRP will start to move up again along with Bitcoin from where it is now. This is because it is still closely following Bitcoin. Of course, the market works that way at this point in time. Everyone is really interested in whether we'll drop below $2 once more. In the end, it all depends on what happens when the market starts. Mondays are infamous in the crypto world. What usually takes place when Bitcoin is above 90K? They drop the price of Bitcoin early. First, people who were long sell their positions, then people who were short sell their positions, and then, like clockwork, the price starts to rise again. There's a good chance that XRP will fall below $2 again if Bitcoin does go down during a drop. Just the way these markets are linked right now makes that possible. But let me make one thing very clear. You shouldn't freak out if XRP falls below $2 again. Either you don't do anything or you buy the dip. That's it. Because this market has had a dump every time this cycle has gone around. What happens next? The price goes up again. This has been going on for weeks and weeks. This is all happening in the market at the same time that placement is becoming very important. Let us go back to XRP now. Many people were interested in a post that Grok made and began to spread. The chart for cycle psychology says that XRP is in the denial phase right now. The next phase is Euphoria. That's cool, but some people want to know if there will be a big crash before we reach happiness. There are people who think there will be a huge change before the real move starts. It's not something I believe we need. I believe our big shakeup has already happened. You may remember that XRP had that big drop in October. I thought that was the end of the shakeout. The one who gets rid of weak hands before things get out of hand. In the past, markets didn't always give you more than one chance. The move will sometimes just begin. That's what people need to know. There are no signs before a breakout. While waiting for the right event, headline, or announcement, everyone is just sitting there. The market doesn't work like that, though. Right now, XRP could really start to move. Things are going to move very quickly once that breakout starts. People won't even know what's going on until price discovery is over. The price will have gone up a lot by the time most small players try to hit the buy button. In cryptocurrency, that's how big moves happen. Next, let's talk about one of the most debated guesses going around. Some people say that Elon Musk's Grok AI has set a price target for XRP for January 31st, 2026, saying that the coin could hit just below 365. The model says that there is a 35% chance that that particular situation will happen. This is how I see it. 35% of the time, XRP will hit that level. This means that 65% of the time, it will go even higher. XRP also doesn't move slowly when it's in use. It moves very quickly. There is no more liquidity, the supply is locked up, and price gaps begin to form. These numbers make people laugh because they are based on the price right now. That being said, they forget how crypto loops work. They don't remember what happens when rules are clear, the market is full of money again, and banks feel safe enough to go all in. Another story going around is that the biggest crash of 2026 is about to happen. The thing that most people don't get is this. People who hold altcoins or have held them for a long time should be happy about that. Why? Because big runs are often followed by big crashes. The first step is growth. Then there is too much. The next step is shrinking. You can tell where we are in the cycle by how many people are already talking about the crash. The Bitcoin dominance picture starts to tell a very interesting story. It's common for Bitcoin to reach its highest level of popularity before other cryptocurrencies do. When there are changes in who is in charge, cash moves into assets like XRP. Short-term drops don't worry me, though. Volatility doesn't bother me. There is volatility when you make gains that grow quickly. Again, if XRP falls below $2, it's not the end of the world, not a negative sign. It is not a fail. It's just one more chance in a circle that's still going strong. And this is what everyone is really looking forward to right now. Bitcoin's popularity is dropping like a rock. If you look at past cycles, you can see it very clearly. Capital turns over when control peaks and starts to roll over hard. That's when altcoins really shine. Plus, I think we're getting pretty close to that point again. There is a lot of talk going around about Bitcoin right now. Bitcoin is talked about everywhere. Each day, the price goals get higher. There are stories in the news that Bitcoin is going to infinity, the 4-year cycle is dead, and pullbacks are no longer necessary. You have to ask yourself, why now? Because small buyers are being drawn in. That's the main point. Liquidity for retail. Get cash out. The market works that way. Smart money gets in early, the price goes up, the buzz grows, retailers rush in late, and then delivery starts. That is not feeling, it is order. All of this fits with what Mark Yusko has said. He thinks that 2026 will be the best year. Does that mean December 2026 now, October 2026? No one really knows. But September has always been the worst month for markets, and October is the second worst. At that point, things begin to feel strange. I do believe that we are living in a bubble. I am sure that Bitcoin will reach its highest point in 2026. There will probably be one last big move up to a new all-time high, and then there will be a hard crash. Also, I don't think we're in a Bitcoin supercycle. That's where I disagree with many of the stories being told right now. It sounds like you've heard it everywhere. The smartest person in the world says that XRP is in a supercycle. CZ calls it a supercycle. Tom Lee calls it a supercycle. Raoul Pal says 5 years. It's always the same word. Everything is a big bike. Everyone is going to become rich quickly. Don't sell, just buy now. That should send up red flags right away. They're really telling you to buy Bitcoin now while it's still expensive because they think that the 4-year cycle is over and Bitcoin will keep going up with no real drops. I don't believe that story at all. That's what I think. It's dangerous and wrong. This is what I think will happen. Bitcoin hits its peak. Bitcoin falls very hard. That's when the real alt season starts. But this time, and this is very important, usefulness is different. Now, utility is here in a way it wasn't before, and usefulness, not just speculation, can drive price. That's the main difference between this cycle and the ones that have come before. Do I believe that XRP is in a super cycle? Most likely not. I don't think the word supercycle fits with how people are using it. I believe that XRP is now in a cycle that is driven by usefulness. The truth is that no one knows how long that lasts. When you look at what's coming, you don't have to guess. Tokenization is the next big thing in crypto. Real-world things moving on the blockchain. Assets worth trillions of dollars are being turned into tokens. This isn't hype. It's building blocks. There will be even more of this in 2025 and 2026. This is the real question that people should ask. Why does XRP crash the same way it did in the past when trillions of dollars are being added to the XRP ledger? If XRP is being used to connect two things that are tokenized and move them from A to B, if payments made across borders continue to grow around the world, if the number of transactions on the XRP record keeps going up, a lot of money is coming in through ETFs, then we're no longer talking about an object that is only worth speculation. We're talking about an item that has real demand, that is tied to real use. But that doesn't mean XRP can't go down. Things start to pull back. But it does mean that the price system is very different this time. And even though I think Bitcoin will crash hard after it sets a new all-time high, I don't think XRP will do the same thing. I believe that XRP decouples in part because it is useful. Now let's talk about something very important that isn't getting much attention. Trading in XRP futures. Traders in XRP futures are now trying to keep the price high. XRP worth a lot of money is stuck on platforms. Most people don't understand how important this is. Data from CoinGlass shows that open interest in XRP has grown a lot in the last 24 hours. There are now over $4 billion worth of open interest, and about 1.93 billion XRP have been committed to the futures market across various exchanges. One thing is made very clear by that. Right now, people are lining up. It's not like fear buying tops in a store before making a move. This is clever placement. When open interest goes up while prices stay the same or slowly go up, it means traders are adding to their positions instead of getting out. Once more, this fits right in with the bigger picture. Even though Bitcoin is still very popular, cracks are starting to show. Capital will shift once power starts to shift in a clear way. It always does. This time, the only thing that's different is that some altcoins, especially ones that are based on usefulness, have real foundations behind them. I don't believe that everything will crash in the same way it always has because of this. Markets change over time. The words in a cycle match, but they don't repeat exactly. Bitcoin will still work the same way it always has. Excitement, peak and crash. But things like XRP are moving into a new phase, one that has less to do with speculation and more to do with infrastructure, payment, and cash flow. Because of this, there are quiet positions right now. When feelings are still mixed, fear is still present, and most people are focused on Bitcoin news. It always works this way. The move is over by the time everyone agrees. People who wait for everything to be clear usually buy late. Most of the time, people who are waiting for confirmation miss the early steps. People who get scared when prices drop usually give their money to someone who knows more about cycles. Things haven't changed in the big picture. Volatility is still the same. The way people act hasn't changed. The only thing that has changed is the value, which is the unknown this time. The sign is that Bitcoin's power is falling. Tokenization is what starts it all. Utility is what drives us. Positioning is already taking place. Soon, people who are paying attention won't need hype. Everyone knows it's going to happen. You can feel it. It's clear. The chart is saying that there will be a breakout soon. The building is there. The momentum is slowly building up and the pressure is rising. One simple fact is the only thing that is stopping us now. We are still interested in Bitcoin. The moment we've all been waiting for will come when Bitcoin stops being dumped every Monday and Friday and the price is allowed to rise naturally. I want to be very clear about this. It's still too early to say that time has come. Some people online say that the longest run ever began just 5 minutes ago. It could have. It could not have happened. To be honest, I don't think we know yet. In terms of crypto, one thing I know for sure is that things are still not clear. There is still a lot of emotion in this market, and it is still driven by macro forces and liquidity games. We're in that unpleasant stage where nothing is clear right now. Those are usually the places where big moves start. An analyst makes the case for buying XRP and says that the price could reach new all-time highs sooner than most people think. The story is going around the web. The US dollar measure, DXY, is one of the main things they look at. You already know this if you've been following me for a while. The DXY has always been very important to me. It's something I've said before. A lot of the time, the DXY shows what's next for crypto. On the 5-day chart of the DXY right now, you can see that it is beginning to roll over. A lot of people think that the move that it's making lower will continue. If it does, we can use past to figure out how to get there. Return to the year 2021. The DXY turned over and lost value. Soon after, crypto prices went through the roof. Even further back, in 2017, the same thing happened. When the DXY fell, money poured into risky assets. That's when XRP hit its all-time high. That's why the question isn't whether the DXY is important. The question is whether we are in that moment now. To be honest, it's still too early to tell. It all depends on what happens with the DXY next. Let it fall again. That will open the door. We wait longer if it stops or goes backwards. Most people don't talk about this part of the trip. People will one day look at you and say, wow, you got so lucky investing in crypto. They will never understand what it took to make you so successful. The red days will not make sense to them. They will not understand how frustrating it is. They won't get the delays, the actions that don't move forward, and the constant waiting. They won't know what it's like to have nothing happen for weeks or months on end. Take a look at the XRP 7-day chart. We've been stuck in the middle for a long time before. This hurts a lot for people who have kept XRP for years. I've been through it many times. These are not the financial tips I used during this move to get to this level. It went up and then down again. I waited through that to get to the next step, and now we're back here. This is how it works. This is how it works. Next time you do a push-up, may it be the one that really changes your life. This is what you can see when you zoom out. Even so, I still think that where we are now is very similar to that earlier build-up phase. Right now, it looks like this moment lines up with that moment from before, the calm before the real growth. We're no longer talking about small numbers if this goes that way. This is about 50 or more XRP, almost certainly 100 or more XRP. I know that some people think that is crazy, but once there is a rise, it will be much easier to see how high price can go. Even the most conservative people are still asking for XRP to be worth $13 to $15 right now. Some people have stuck with the $27 level. Personally, I believe we are greater than that. This is why. For starters, there are ETF flows. With ETFs, XRP is taken out of circulation. That matters. Less supply, the same or rising demand. This is the second part, tokenization. If tokenization really picks up speed before the breakout, that could add fuel to a fire that is already going. Then there are rules and laws. Will the Clarity Act be finished this week? No one knows. But if it does, it would be very good for the market. For all cryptocurrencies, not just XRP. Clear rules take away doubt, and markets love certainty. That could turn out to be the thing that starts this whole run. That could be the spark that everyone has been waiting for. It could be something else. Or maybe there isn't a single thing that starts the move. Things just start to fall into place. Things that happened this morning will tell us a lot. Don't get angry if Bitcoin gets dumped again. You already understand how this game works. You don't get scared. You do not sell your XRP because you feel bad. In this case, you just sit back and wait because you already know what's going to happen. Eventually, prices have gone up after every shakeout in this cycle.